Hello students. Today we are going to look at how to solve percent problems using proportions. Yesterday we looked at how to find the percent of a number with a proportion, and today we're going to look at how to find any piece that's missing using a proportion when percents are involved. We've got 3 steps. First, you've got to identify the given information and label. That's always going to be our first step when we're dealing with word problems. We have to figure out what's given to us and label it. The second step is going to be to set up a proportion using that information. And the third step is going to be to solve. Let's look at an example. I have Sarah ate 13 M&Ms out of a bag with 52 M&Ms. What percent did she eat? Well, let's figure out what I know. I know that Sarah ate 13 M&Ms, and I know that the bag had 52 M&Ms. So my total, I have 52 total M&Ms, and Sarah ate 13 of them. The question asks me, what percent did she eat? When I want to know what percent, what that question is really asking me is it's saying, if there were 100 M&Ms, how many would she have eaten? So the two things that I'm comparing are eaten M&Ms to total M&Ms. And since I'm comparing eaten to total, I'm going to go ahead and make a table to set up a proportion. Eaten M&Ms to total M&Ms. If Sarah eats 13 M&Ms, it's because there was a total of 52. When I've got 52 M&Ms, Sarah ate 13 of them. The question wants to know, what percent did she eat? So it's saying, in a perfect world, in the percent world, where the total is always 100, if I had 100 M&Ms, how many would I eat? Okay, here's what I do know. I know that 100 is bigger than 52, so this percent has to be more than 13%. We can go ahead and solve this using scale factor, the 6th grade method, where you look to see how many times can I go from one value to another, or you can do cross products. They both work on this problem. I'm going to do the 6th grade method because I think it's easier. 52 divided by 4 is going to give me 13. I need to go the other way as well. 100 divided by 4 will give me that missing value. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So I know that x equals 25. Well, what's the label? 25 what? 25%. It's looking for a percent, and that percent sign, again, remember, means if there were 100, 25 would be eaten. So 25%. Let's look at another example. I'm going to cover the top part of the page so that we can really focus in on what's going on here. It says, Mike used 40% of the paper in his house on a project. If Mike used 24 sheets of paper, how many were in his house? Mike used 40%. This is telling me 2 pieces of information. It's telling me the total of 100, and it's telling me 40 were used. 40 were used when there are 100. That's what that means. Of the paper in his house on a project. If Mike used 24 sheets, so again, 24 is what's being used, how many were in his house? How many total? I'm looking for the total here. So I know from my problem that when the total is 100, 40 sheets are used. But how many do I have to have in order for 24 sheets to be used? That's what I'm looking at here. So let's set up my proportion. I'm comparing used paper to total paper. That total is key when we're looking at percents. This tells me both pieces of information. It tells me the total is 100, and the used is 40. When I have 40 pieces of used paper, my total is 100. When I have 24 pieces of used paper, I don't know what the total is. That's what I'm looking for. There are a couple ways to solve this. You can set it up in your proportion and solve it this way. You can use the 10% method that we learned the very first day of percents. You can cross multiply and divide. Whatever's easier here. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. I have 100 times 24 is 2400. 40 times x is 40x. And if I want to figure out what just x is, I have to divide by the number paired with it. So I have to divide by 40. 2,400 divided by 40. Now, every time I'm dividing and I have a 0 at the end of the number, I get rid of it because it's just like simplifying a fraction by 10. I divided. It made my numbers easier. Now, can 4 go into 2? No, it can't. Can 4 go into 24? Yes, 4 goes into 24 6 times. It's 24. And then I have a 0 left over, so it comes straight up. Let's see if this makes sense. When I have 100 total pieces of paper, I use 40. When I have 60 total pieces of paper, I use 24. Does that make sense? Yes, I went down. It seems to make sense. Remember, you can always cross multiply to double check. 60 times 40 is 2,400. 100 times 24 is 2,400. I started with 60 pieces of paper in this problem. Thank you for doing your notes today. We're going to look at some more problems like this in class. Just make sure that you're identifying given information and labeling. That's going to help you with pretty much any percent problem, any math problem really, but any percent problem that you see. Thanks for doing your notes. We'll see you tomorrow.